How are you? Hi. If you heard some noise in the background, it was me because I'm streaming live on YouTube for the first time, and all of a sudden it went live with my song. I was like, "Ah!" I was trying to turn it off.
Oh
How are
yeah,
you? Happy Saturday Night Live.
I know, and we're live in two places, so well as X, but since you're going to be trying
Yeah,
YouTube, um,
I
we're
know.
going to see Ellen because what did we talk about before the show with our guests? We have
I
conspiracy
well, their
therapist
names, yes. Well,
17, and then we have Q Mom. So if the
um,
algorithms don't get you,
I know. We'll see. But this is
we'll
so
see.
fun. This is such a fun experiment, actually.
Yeah,
See if we even get one viewer over there. But anyway, happy Saturday night. I want to bring them on right away before we talk about anything because they are really part of the family here that we have created on our little corner of the internet and
mhm.
it really is this show does feel like family, especially when we have folks like these two. So can't wait to bring them on. Sean and Q Mom,
Hey.
hi.
Hi, how are you?
Hey
Happy
guys.
Saturday.
Hi.
So good.
Wait,
So good. It's so it's just when we were just chatting before this show, it's just like talking to such good friends.
It really
You
is.
are.
so you're streaming on YouTube, so I should be expecting about six blacked out cars in the morning waiting for me when I get out of the house.
Yes. Well, I don't think anyone's
Yeah.
watching yet, so I
I
think
think I
you're
gotta
safe.
close my shades.
Well, I'm excited about this. Q Mom, do you realize that when we were on the phone the other day, it was 3 hours?
I no, I had no idea. And see, this is part of why I'm kind of like camera shy. I was telling Tricia that, and Sean knows this so well. One of my fears is that I tend to start talking and then don't stop, and I go all over the place, lose focus, and I have so many things to talk about. So we have a safe word today, and it's squirrel.
I wasn't sure if you were going to
Trisha,
reveal that.
Trisha's gonna keep me in line, right?
It, it's like watching a ping pong match on meth.
It gets out. I can't control it. It's so anyway. I'm gonna try my hardest. I think you guys are amazing, and I love your show.
Mhm.
And I can't even. I mean, honestly, your show. First of all, I'm honored to be on here because I just feel like the caliber of guests that you guys get on
Mhm.
is just it's really special. I mean, learning about. I mean, I was just listening to Burn Notice and his background,
Yeah.
and just getting on and JF and on and Micro Toolmaker, and of course, oh my gosh, I love the new show with Barb, The View
Yeah.
on
The View
Friday.
of Truth. Yeah.
It's
Yes,
awesome.
and I appreciate you saying that. I feel like we're moving into this time. The first step here is this labor of love with Trisha. This labor of love.
Yeah,
And that's a whole side of things. And then the view of truth.
yeah, that's
Where we're
awesome.
talking about godly things, and you can just see this whole new and Sean with his show. Bringing people in and being kind to people and being the therapist for it, where you can just feel it moving into this new era.
Mhm.
And it's incredible. And even the decoders, when I talked to Paul on the View of Truth, these master decoders are moving into a new direction. They have a new
Mhm.
show coming out Monday, he and Stormy Joe and DC, that's all going to be biblical and godly, and they're not going to do. And Paul said, he said on that show, I think that they made us decoders first for the Q movement to be decoders of this, and he held up a Bible, and I was like,
Mhm.
Amazing,
wow,
amazing.
how cool is that? you
That was a
know
great show, Ellen. That was a great show. I got I
well
got
i
goosebumps just listening to it. It was really good.
well, I appreciate that, and we got Stormy Joe coming this week, and I just want people to listen to it and feel good, and that's just kind of the goal. But before we even talk about anything else, I was messaging Tricia before we got started. I'm like, "How's the weather?" And you're like, Nothing's going on here." And she sent me a screenshot of this. So, like, explain what's happening.
Yeah, I'm the blue dot, just outside of the Raleigh area, and we had snow on both sides of us. Well, we got a little bit today, but it didn't. It was supposed to start last night. It didn't. I woke up this morning, nothing. It started probably around 1 o'clock. But as you can see, it dissipated, and the remaining is moving from the south to the north. But we're in this clear belt. It's bizarre.
Weird.
Wow.
Yes.
So if it was, you could see the radar moving, you would just see the clouds going up, and we're just in the clear.
That's
So there's
wild.
just that strip that there's just nothing. That's just bizarre to me. You know, I who knows? I mean, it could be real. It could be. Who
Yeah.
knows?
Doesn't
Yeah,
feel
and I know
like it, does it?
It
just
looks
real
like
quick, and I know I told you guys before the show, but the audience might get a kick out of this because we got to put a call into Abs and Stormy. But we were supposed to start getting some weather last night, and it didn't happen. But we had a power outage not too far from me, and then apparently RDU, the Raleigh-Durham International Airport, lost power for a while as well. And I just thought that was interesting.
it's almost like the weather is being manipulated.
Oh,
Does anybody else get excited
no.
with power outages? I mean, I hear power outage and I just get so excited. Is that a bad thing? I mean, do you know what I mean? Like, I just want my phone to explode. I want a power outage and then I want my phone to explode. And then I want to go use my emergency food that has 20 years left on it, I think.
Mine expired.
I have a CB radio. I still haven't taken it out of the box yet.
Oh my gosh, this is all so funny. Well, before we get into it, I have to say one other thing that's so cool. Med Exam, you're so nice for $20. Love seeing all these absolutely incredible patriots together. Love you guys. We love you so much back.
Glad you're
for
feeling
sure.
better, Med Exam.
Yes.
Love you,
Yes.
Mad.
The chat
So,
family is my family.
Yes.
Absolutely. Me
we're
too.
such a family. I love it. So there's so many things I want to talk about, but if the one is just because it just happened today, I was so mesmerized that so quickly that at 12 noon today, the Absolute Storm fellas, Stormy Joe went to go see the Melania movie, and in the short hours after that, if you haven't seen it, you have to watch their special that they did.
Oh, really? They did a special
Stormy
already?
Joe, the decodes in that movie are unbelievable. And they talk about JFK and Michael Jackson, and it's incredible the stuff that's in there. So you'll have to go back and watch. And I thought, wow, well, this is brilliance doing it in just a couple of hours, putting a whole show together.
Wow.
So
those guys are fast.
Yeah.
That was
and
fast.
and I think because Stormy Joe went to see the movie last night, I think he was so taken by how many comms there were in it that he wanted to get it out there, you know? So
And only
really,
he could.
really
You
cool
know, I
stuff.
saw the movie last night and I was trying to like come up with comms and I'm like, I got maybe a couple, maybe, but yeah, Stormy, I can't wait to watch that show.
Okay, just picture this. Picture Stormy in a movie theater having to watch a movie but not being able to clip anything yet.
Yes.
You know he was sitting there with a pad and a pencil, just checking off the boxes.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh yes. He was so jazzed. It's just to watch him just describe the things is just so fun. So anyway, I just had to say that because I was just so mesmerized that he did that so quickly. But anyway, it's just such a privilege to have both of you, Laura and Sean here, and to hear more about both of you and to hear your stories. And I'm just thrilled that we have some pictures that we'll be able to show. But I want to start with Sean because you have your podcast and you're getting more and more people and it's just an extension of this family for sure. Tell us how about you and your life and kind of where you were born and how things started for you.
Well, I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. I spent 36 years there.
Wow.
How I was born. Okay, so it was a tough ride for a very long time. Both my father was a Vietnam veteran, Marines. My mother was from the streets. So both my mother and my father were drug addicts, ex-drug addicts at the time. My mother I was born on, if you ever heard of it, methadone.
Oh,
It's a way to get off of heroin. They used to have methadone clinics, and while my mother was pregnant, she had to stay on it because if she didn't, she'd lose me. So she had to stay on it. So I was born on methadone, and that caused effects from that because later on I'll tell you that I was also born with hydrocephalus. If you ever heard of it,
no.
it's
What's
water on the
that?
brain.
Oh.
Yeah. So I was born with water on the brain, but usually when you're born with hydrocephalus, the head usually enlarges. But my
Mhm.
skull formed before that could happen. And I didn't know anything. So the magic number when I was 17, I had a little bit of an accident. I went to the hospital. They gave me a CAT scan. And that's when they told my mother that I think he needs to see a neurosurgeon, and they found that the valves in my brain were 100 times the size of anybody else's. That's what hydrocephalus
What?
is. And they said by the time I'm 40, I'd either have the first signs of what is that called? Brain injuries, like my wife just said
Traumatic
it.
brain injury?
Alzheimer's,
Oh, dementia,
Oh,
Alzheimer's.
dementia, Alzheimer's, and I would start going blind because it was pushing on my optical nerve. So I had to go
wow.
for brain surgery at 17.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And
What
so
age?
you went for
Yes.
17,
17, I went for major brain surgery.
and
And
how
because say again?
what was I mean, was it how long were you out and out and how was
It was a brand new procedure they did. It was something called a third transviculotomy, which they cut a passageway for the fluid to drain itself. Usually with little babies, they give a shunt. It's like a hose that
Oh,
connects
yeah,
to your
yeah, yeah,
brain,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then it drains out. But I was
Right.
too old for that, and they were afraid of bacteria getting in. So they did this brand new procedure that it was me and 100 other people had gotten. They gave it to me, and I'll tell you later on, 10 years later, when I was 27, all of a sudden I started seizing up for like out of nowhere. And I wound up in the hospital again, and I had to do the same surgery again. But 10 years had
Oh.
passed, and the surgery got way better than what it was. Now I'm completely fine. I'm just kidding.
And so Sean, when they did that, does
Yeah.
it something you have to stay in the hospital for? Is it
Yes,
something
I
they
was
give you?
overnight. Basically, it was just an overnight thing. They had to drill a hole like right around here. I had 5 staples in my head. It was a real bother when I had to go through metal detectors at the moment, you know. But like I said, I'm gonna throw in some jokes. That's how I, deal with what I've gone through, because in the years from when I was born until I was that age of 17, I went through a lot of hell. And
Mhm.
So everybody understands, my mother left my father when I was 3 because he was beating her up, and it was a physical and mental abuse, and he was physically abusing me at the time. He didn't want me to see what was going on, so he used to throw pepper in my eyes.
Oh, I
What?
know that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I really had a hard time as a kid. I really, really did. I had a hard time as a kid. And when I was 8, 9 years old, I was molested multiple times.
Oh,
Well, before you go there, the picture that you sent of the man and the little boy, is that
That's
you?
that's my father. That's my father. Now that's me. That's
The
me and
little
my
one?
father.
Cutie.
Yeah, that's
our
me and
cute
my,
kid, Sean.
you see the 80s background, the
Yes.
wallpaper. the 70s, 80s wallpaper.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. But what's amazing to me, you've got this beautiful smile and,
I know.
I
even
was always
after
a happy
every
kid. Yeah.
wow. Wow.
Yeah.
And so before we dive into, so I want to go back to that. So your mom left and she left. Did you go with her?
Yeah, yeah. I actually she moved in with her mother, and so I grew up with my grandfather and my grandmother at the time. That's the house actually. That's where that is. My father, from what I heard when I was a kid, he used to go on vacation upstate. That was prison. That's what I was told. He was going on vacation,
Oh.
and he had just come back, and he went in right after that. But he had come back. He wanted to see me for my birthday. I think I was about maybe 5 or 6 in that picture,
Mhm.
and, I was about 5 or 6 in that picture, and then it
Mhm.
wound up that my father had to go back to jail because he did something, whatever it was, and my father was actually using at the time. Now, I'm gonna tell you this, the reason why I gave you these pictures, there's excuse me, there's not many pictures of my mother because all my albums burned up when I had the fire, which I'll get to.
Well,
This is why I moved out to Jersey. I lost everything. In 2016, me, Shansa, and my oldest daughter, Hayden, we were living in Brooklyn. There was a fire, and we lost everything in the fire, basically. I mean, so I only had one album that I could save. That one when I went back in to go get anything, and
that's
that was
devastating.
um, yes, you know what? It was. It was really devastating, but now I look back right now and I say to myself, you know, God did this for a reason. Um, sometimes you talk about things, you wanna do something in life, and you
Mhm.
kinda like, you say you wanna do this, you wanna do that, and God is like, "You know what? If I really want you to do it, I'm gonna put you through the trials first, so that way you could appreciate it more."
Yeah. I mean, obviously those things made you who you are, but it also, it's a burden, for sure. So I want to go back though, Sean, for a minute.
Sure.
Um, so you were lived with your
Yeah.
grandparents and you're with your mom. Did things settle down there? I mean, what you
I had
mentioned
the
you were
perfect life. Yeah.
so that was a calmer
Yeah.
time.
I had the perfect life. I actually don't remember, that my mother did all these things and was on drugs and whatever. I had the perfect life from the age of 3 until I was about, 8, 9 years old. I had a great life. I used to go to camp. My mother had put me in martial arts when I was 6 years old. I stayed in there for a very long time. I mean, I had a great life, and, I had nothing to worry about, and then about 9, 10 years old is when everything went south. My father had gotten out of jail. My grandfather, which was my father's father, he decided that he thought maybe it would be better and best that I meet him and maybe make a relationship with him. And it did not happen that way.
What happened?
For a year, he was okay. He was living in Buffalo, New York. And we would take trips out there. And for about a year, year and a half, he was okay. And then his real personality came out, and he moved back into Brooklyn. And I used to have cops all the time at my house. My mother, he was coming home high. He was doing ungodly things. When I was 13, 14 years old, my mother had thrown him out, and he had come back, and like a week later, and I was home alone actually, and my mother and my grandmother had gone out to bingo, and he knew that, and he was watching, he was waiting around. And he came back to the house, he was high, I was alone, and I told him that my mother and my grandmother were away. Okay, fine. He was like, I'll wait for them outside. Now he was very drunk, very high. I said, I don't think that she wants to see you right now and whatnot. But me being who I am, about a little while after, I wanted to see if he was okay. So I went downstairs to see if he was okay. And he was sitting on a chair waiting for my mother to come back. And I saw, like, I thought he spilled a beer on the floor. So I opened up the light for the outside. And I looked, I couldn't tell what it was. And when I saw him, he had cut both of his wrists, and that was all blood that was on the bottom on the floor.
And this is your grandfather?
No, that was my father.
Oh, this is your
Yeah,
father.
that was my father.
Wow. So,
Yeah,
oh, wow. And
yeah,
what a horrific thing for you to witness.
yeah.
So what did you do?
I just I didn't know what to do. At that moment, that very moment, my mother was actually coming back, so she was parking the car.
Mhm.
She saw what was going on. My mother took it like it was nothing, because she knew him, she dealt with him, so this was something that was new to me. So she just called 911, and the ambulance came. And I mean, like I said, I went through hell and high water. And this is going to be a show. If you want to know about what I've gone through, this is definitely going to be a show for that.
Wow. Yeah, I do. So I want to go back to all that. I mean, obviously your life was just filled with chaos, and I want to
Mhm.
continue on for sure. But I want to spend a little time with Q Mom about your life. Laura, tell us about
Ooh.
you and your childhood and growing up.
Wow, still processing what Sean shared, so it's hard to switch gears.
I know.
Right? Well, yeah, I was born in New York City to Cuban refugee parents. Very close, tight knit family. I'm one of six. We moved to New Jersey when I was 5. Um, and
Is this
very
picture?
strict upbringing. I was the only girl for most of my childhood. My younger sister came when I was 11 years old. So
Tell me this picture, Laura. Which one is
where'd
this?
you get that, girl? Did I give you guys that photo? That's me and my firstborn,
Oh,
Vienna.
You
that's
gave me your
you.
you gave me your Facebook.
Yes. No, all good. I'm just like so surprised to see it.
I want to
Yeah,
get back
that's
to I want to get back to younger ones, but keep going. Keep going with your childhood.
okay. Yeah, no, I mean, it was idyllic, I have to say. I mean, there's a little small town where I still live, in Mountainside, New Jersey, and got married, moved away for 10 years, and then came back. It's people tend to come back here. Oh my God. You guys, you're gonna make me cry. That's that photo is of me and my mom, my oldest brother Javier, Miguel, Carlos, and Eddie. That's before my younger sister was born. So I was the only girl for most of my childhood, and I had a very
Hmm.
strong, passionate father, and my mom was more in a supporting role, and so I kind of turned out to be a little bit loud and opinionated to keep up with the guys. I think.
Yes, all the boys. Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
OMG.
yeah,
Without a
exactly.
doubt.
Right. So that's a great adventure. Although I'm dating myself if I say great adventure, not Six Flags, right? So I'm told.
And so it was a big chaotic family, but was it a loving family?
Very loving. Yeah, even my grandparents lived with us. A small, little, modest Cape Cod house. My grandfather was deaf. My first language was Spanish, believe it or not. I didn't learn English until like 6 years old. My mom just threw me into kindergarten here in town without knowing a word of English. And I don't remember not knowing English. But my grandfather was deaf. So in addition to speaking Spanish, we had to, it's not American Sign Language. It was called finger spelling in Cuba. And so we'd have to talk
Oh,
to him by doing the alphabet like this. And so it was actually a great lesson in spelling. I'm such a good speller because of
yep.
that. And yeah, so that was a great experience. And my grandmother was a seamstress. And yeah, I mean, it was very loving, boisterous Cuban family. We were raised very drilled into our heads the fact that our freedom can be taken away at any time.
Right.
Because, my mom was 17 when she married my dad at 23, came to Cuba with my 1-year-old brother when she was 18 years old, with nothing. They had to leave absolutely everything behind. And you have to remember the difference with Cuban refugees and, other immigrants. Cuban refugees are a very proud people because they never intended to leave their country. They never wanted to. They left. They were literally seeking asylum, refuge here in the States, and they all thought that they were going to go back after it all cooled off and was over in 3 months. So imagine being 18 years old with a newborn on your lap, leaving with just like a tube of toothpaste and I think 50 American dollars that she got as a wedding gift. And landing in Miami, thinking you'll be back in 3 months and never going back ever again. So Cubans are very, very patriotic, very appreciative of the United States because of that, very. And, very weary of, losing their freedoms, but appreciative for the US. So yeah.
And so is that your dad?
Oh, let me see. Oh yeah, that's my dad. Yeah. He passed in January 18th of 2018, 1/18/18. And
wow.
I know, and it's funny because I Q came on the scene in October of 2017, was it? And I didn't know about Q until after my dad died. And I think I don't know, part of me just feels like he kind of, sent it to me, like gave me a heads up. One of my last conversations with him was, he was just watching, Trump. This was, again, 2017, watching Trump on the news saying, "My God, Laura, I think this man is a genius."
Wow.
Like he was like looking at him, listening to him, like he knew something extraordinary was going on. And so that was really interesting. And then unfortunately, for reasons I cannot explain, I mean, I lost my mom last May, but she contracted TDS in the last 5 years of her life. And I don't...
Trump derangement syndrome?
Yeah, although I should note that my parents did divorce after 34 years. And then they both remarried. And then my mom became widowed and then she remarried again. So, they weren't Cuban conservatives. So I'm not sure. I don't know what happened there. But she had Trump derangement syndrome. It was crazy.
That's so interesting. Yeah, especially with having a daughter like you, that would be hard.
Yeah, that caused a few problems, right? I mean, I'm blessed because the last 6 months, God blessed us with beautiful reunion of the heart and soul, which was great. But before then, we kind of got into it. I mean, she called me a Q-tard, like full on. I was like, "Do you even know what Q is?" Like, yeah. So she had somebody chirping in her ear, and I don't know. So
well. That's okay because now she's on the other side, all in, because she knows what this is actually.
Well, I'll tell you what, exactly right. And like I said, I lost her last May, and then about a week after that, and again, I do think it was all divinely orchestrated because I was really at a low point. I'd lost my best friend since I was 7 at this time. Also, she's, she's physically here, but big blowout. I mean, we were like sisters, and and I lost her and family stuff. I was assaulted by my brother and sister-in-law. There's a lot of stuff going on. But so I was at a low point, and a week after she passed, I went to the 17 meetup on News Treason's channel for New Jersey. I'm like, I want to get together with people from New Jersey, and there were only 6 people in that channel. And then so this guy Vincent just emails me back and says, "Hey, just want to let you know that chat is dormant. Like nothing's really going on." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much." And he's like, "But," he goes, "David Becker's having a party next week if you want to go." And he goes, "And Dave and Rambo are going to be there."
Oh.
And I'm like,
all roads
"Wait a
lead to
minute."
Becker.
I'm like, "What?" So I was like, "No, okay, we have to talk." So then we spoke on the phone, and then he said to me, "Yeah, I mean, I had to talk to you to make sure you were real." I'm like, "Dude, I had to talk to you to make sure you weren't a scammer." I'm like, what luck? are you serious? A stranger just emails me and invites me to a party where Dave and Rambo were going to be. So then at that same time, Med Exam and I had been like going back and forth in the chat since like February. Yeah, I said, "Oh, you're in New Jersey? Yeah, we should get together." She messaged me on Telegram, and I'm so technically stupid, I didn't even know where to find my messages on Telegram. So so this is the funny part. She had messaged me, I guess, in maybe February or March. Anyway, it was 3 months earlier. And so I finally see her message right after this guy Vincent messaged me, because his notification popped up, and then I saw, oh, look, there's a message from Med, right? So it was totally kismet, totally divinely orchestrated, because he calls me and then I'm like, oh my gosh, Med, I'm so sorry, I didn't see this in time. I don't know where to find my messages, but now I see it. And that message came to me. I saw it the day Vincent contacted me, and it was also her late husband's birthday. So, and then, so I'm talking to Vincent. I'm like, hey, can we include Med Exam to go to this party? Yeah, absolutely. Give me her number. So that we all talked, and then we all just showed up there, and it was just, my whole world opened up. We saw Sean there, and the girls, and Shansa, and I'm telling you, they've been a godsend for me, because like he said, this chat family is, it really is my family. I have 4 brothers, but I'm closer to Sean than I am to any one of them, and they live right by me. So, it's really special. It's really special. Yeah.
Yeah. I love when things like that happen. Yes. Oh my goodness.
too.
Well, I want to get back to a couple things with you too, but Sean, so take us back. So after that happened to your dad with his wrists, was he then gone out of the picture, and how did your mom handle you and try to comfort you? How did that all go?
Okay. Wow. So I found out a lot of things, because he had gotten out of the hospital, and of course it was it was a sickness with my mother and father with the drugs, because it was like they needed to be with each other, birds of a feather flock together type of thing.
Right.
They felt like they needed each other in some ways. It was, I understand it now. I'll get to that point later in the show, and I'll tell you where I am now. But then I had found out my mother and father were fighting. This is after he got out of the hospital. My mother took him back. They made up, whatever, and I'm just, I'm 14, 15 years old, and I don't know what's going on. I'm having trouble in school because I
Course.
can't concentrate because of what's going on in the house, because I didn't want to be home. Like, I didn't want to be in school, and I didn't want to be home, so I was lost. I didn't know where to be, and I didn't have any friends either. It was hard for me to make friends because I didn't trust anybody.
Sure.
So I was in a really bad spot where I just had to be in my own head. And and I found out later on, my mother and father had this big fallout one night, and my father comes running into the bedroom, wakes me up in the middle of the night, and he was like, this is when I found out that my mother was on drugs. I had no idea.
Oh,
He's like,
wow.
your mother was on methadone, you were born on methadone, and you have a sister.
Oh,
Oh,
And I'm like, wait, what? I was like, what are you talking about? I have a sister. Well, your mother was raped when she was 18, and she had a girl, and she had to give it up for adoption, and you have a sister. And
oh
that's
my
when,
God.
yeah, I told you this is going to be a big one. I never really told my story. This is actually the first time I've ever really came out with all the things that I've ever, spoken about in my life.
Hmm.
And after that, that's when things went really downhill, because now I know. Now it's out in the open. So now it's like it was a free for all for my mother and father to do whatever they wanted to do. It was pills, it was everything. I at the time when I had the surgery, my mother was nodding out on a chair waiting for me. And the doctors had to come in because they didn't know what was wrong with my mother, but they didn't know that she was high.
Wow.
But at the moment, they didn't know. After the fact, it was embarrassing. Everywhere I went was embarrassing. I didn't want to be anywhere. And Um, I look at it now and I can't believe I went through these things. It's kind of like
Yeah.
a dream to me, you know.
Mhm.
But yeah. So I mean, if you want to ask me anything else, like on the other hand, how it went after, or where you want to go with this.
I'm just thinking, Sean,
Yeah.
that all of the things that you went through now in the role that you're, the role you're playing now, playing is not the right word, but what you're doing now in the community, and you hear everybody's story, nothing probably shocks you now. Like you're probably able to absorb it and help. And
Well, the one thing that I'll say, and I want the chat family to listen, and I want you to understand something. You're going to go through a lot of things in life, but the one thing I will tell you, and do not ever do, is don't ever give up.
Yes. You're a beautiful example of that.
Yeah, don't
look
ever
beautiful.
ever give up.
And you're helping so many people now, Sean. You have a lovely family, and they're all involved in there. It's so beautiful, whether you call in or you do your own shows. I mean, they're right there sharing. You guys are just sharing everything together. The way that you talk about your girls and your wife, it's so loving. It's just beautiful. It's being that example. Doesn't, like no matter what you've gone through, your house burned down. I mean, I remember when you told me that story, and
Yeah,
and maybe we go back in, because I know that
yeah,
that might be something that you want to share as well, because I know
sure.
there was a lot of
Yeah,
family things that you went through with I think it was your sister.
yeah, yeah.
Before you do, I want you to do that, but I just noticed that the good old
Yeah.
Scott Beard the Parade gave 5 subscriptions. So he is such a catalyst for so many of us. So we just love you so much, Scott. Thank you for all you do for so many people. And there was a rant that came in as well that I just wanted to say. Snack Cakes 802. Q Mom, you just blew my mind. I also lost Dad December 18, 2018. He was as one of the first conspiracy theorists. He told me, Deborah, you need to pay attention. I took 2020. I always knew something was right. Wasn't right, was right, if I'm reading that correctly. But that's crazy that it was the same date.
Yeah.
That's nuts, actually.
That's
Thank you for the
God.
$20. That's so appreciated. This is just the greatest family ever. We're here to just and how divinely we found each other, just to be able to inspire and have these special moments with each other is just so wonderful. Um, so Sean, I just want to continue for a few minutes. So something happened around the house fire in your sister?
Well, what happened was the house fire happened in actually 2016. That was later on.
Mhm.
This is you mind if I just
Yeah, go back,
it was the most important pivotal point in my life was
please.
actually 2000 and pretty much 2009, 2010. It's when I started actually dating my wife. And that was the biggest turn in my life that I've ever had. Actually, we've been together for 17 years now.
Of course you have.
Of course, right?
Of
Of course
course,
you have.
of course.
Of course we have. Um, I went to school with my wife. Actually, we went to middle school, which is junior high school to us in New York. We called it junior high school.
Right. Yeah.
So my daughter is now, my oldest one is 12 years old. I was 11 years old when I met my wife. You know,
Oh my gosh.
Amazing.
yeah, and I have some weird things about that because it's a joke. Like that whole joke. Remember what happened in band camp? Well, me and my wife were actually in band together in school. Both of us played the saxophone, and she was in most of my classes and everything. And I knew her, and I mean, we were friendly. We used to just say hello to each other. It was the most that you got out of each other. And I had my friends, she had her friends. Um, and I remember graduation, which is really weird. Remember when you get the autograph books and
Oh my
everybody
Yes.
God,
signs your autograph book? Well,
those
she
with
signed it.
Ziggy.
Yeah, she signed it. and she signed it, "Good luck in high school. I hope you find a girlfriend soon."
Oh.
And
Tap, tap.
yeah, and also her mother took a picture of her and her best friend. I was in the background. My mother took a picture of me and my best friend, and Shansa was walking past in the background.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So that was really weird with that. Me and Shansa started dating. I was on heavy medications at the time for about 12 years, 13 years. I was on Klonopin, Prozac, all these antidepressants. I didn't know
Oh,
anything of it.
wow.
And the reason why I had to be on some of these things is that my mother made me feel that I needed it
Of
because
course.
she was taking the pills from me.
Oh,
She was using them
dang.
too. Like the Klonopin is like Valium, so she was taking my pills. So it was just extra for her.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I
That's
was doing other things that I wasn't proud of. I was is something called making doctors. I don't know if you ever heard of that, but I would go out and say that was something wrong with me or I had a pain or this, and I would get prescriptions so I can get like different painkillers and then give it to her, or I was used to do these things.
God.
Excuse me. Getting back to Shansa, my favorite part of this is that we went out on a date. We were in Manhattan. We were hanging out. I decided that I think it was a great idea that I needed to tell Shansa the truth because I saw something coming out of this. I really had strong feelings towards her. She felt the same way towards me. And we went out to a diner right after we went out to a bar to hang out. And I sat there. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning. And I decided, I was like, let me tell her what I'm on. And so just to be honest with her. And I did. And she looked at me dead in the face and she says, "I thought you were more of a man than that."
Wow.
And that hit me. And the next day I took all the pills and I flushed them down the toilet and I never looked back.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. So that was that. And then we got closer.
That's huge.
Yeah, that was,
Huge.
my wife wanted for me to understand that I needed to love myself first before I fell in love with her,
Amen.
you know?
And don't you think, Sean, it took somebody who knew you as a child to have that depth of knowledge of who you were, literally wrote in your yearbook about about it, someone that had invested in the you of you, and not just some guy at the bar. I mean, and that's what's so divine about it. It's a beautiful story in a chaotic mess that you were
Yes.
coming out of.
Well, if you think about it, Shansa made the first Q drop. She told the future proves past.
That's very
Well done.
true.
Well done.
Yeah. See,
OMG.
I'm complete Q-tard. I'm just
Proudly.
cute,
Proudly.
complete
we
Q-tard.
are proud.
That's my mind goes right there.
I didn't
Yeah.
see it. Sean says a Fed.
Yeah, I know. I know. I know. She's been after me for a while. She knew.
I just have to stop too. And I got a beautiful print from Laura. Q Mom, you're so sweet. Feel honored to be here and blessed. Thank you for this incredible platform you created for us all to get to know each other. Amen. You're so sweet. And I thank you so much. And it's just a joy for all of us. You can feel it. And I'm just so grateful that you're here as part of this. And then Fraz04,
Mm.
$17, just wanted to say hi to everyone on the panel and in the chat. Hi everyone. Give
Thank
it
you,
up for those
Fred.
17 years. Woo-hoo-hoo.
Woohoo!
Yay,
Hey,
Fraz.
Fraz.
Thank you. So nice.
That's always so
So
cute.
before we get back to you, Sean, so Laura, so you went really fast past something.
What?
You said that there was a situation where your brother and sister-in-law were abusive to you or assaulted you, or what's that all
Did I
about?
stick that in there? Okay, yeah. Yeah, it was in 2021. They live 3 houses down from me, and they still do. So I have a very difficult kind of, yeah, that was like 5 years ago. I don't know what was going on, but my brother, he's my younger brother, and they had gotten the vax. I mean, I did not speak to them about the vax. I didn't speak to any of my family who got it. I have one red-pilled brother who I spoke to. And I think, I had said to him, my niece, their daughter was starting to have seizures. And I just in confidence said to my one brother, oh gosh, I wonder if it's because of the vax, who knows? And then just in conversation, right? I mean, I knew a lot about the vax, but so I guess that got back to my brother. In addition to, I was very public. I felt like my posts on Facebook were like PSAs. They weren't obnoxious about anti-vax. I was just saying, like, I remember I posted the very first VAERS report in January of 21 when only 55 people had died at that point. And all I said was, just, hey, take a look at this, before you think about getting the vax, and then make your decision after that. Well, I'll tell you, I did not expect the attack in that. And I mean, the post is still up there. My best friend since I was 7, well, she was do the math. She was a nurse at an assisted living facility, right? Having to give out the vax. So she's a private person, but she came after me on that post and was like, how could you, my family's gotten the vax. I've gotten the vax. And I'm thinking, well, so is mine. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, I had other nurses who are friends that were on my side of it defending me. I didn't take it any further. But my point is that I guess my brother was very aware of my posts and my stance on everything. And, he took issue with me going to January 6th to the Capitol. I've always cared for my mother. She had battled cancer many times. I was the only person actually that had cared for her, consistently. And January 6th was one day where she just needed a ride for a test that she was going to get done. She's got 5 other children locally, right? And so that was one day that I was like, oh, I can't, I just said, oh, I have to do something for work. And so, okay. So my one brother down the street who never lifted a finger, I shouldn't say that, but anyway, so he gave me a hard time, blaming me. They were all attacking me for having to go on January 6th and not taking my mother to the doctor appointment. And so all hell broke loose after that. And then they just came out. Then I was hospitalized with COVID, which was just advanced bronchitis, pneumonia, because I tried to take care of it myself here at home. And that's when I had been working for Truther at that time. And I had learned about MMS, chlorine dioxide solution, and I read all the books, Jim Humble. And I was actually helping Patriots with that. Part of my job was to get protocols out to these people, give them the forms to get exemptions. In fact, I put together a whole 30-page resource that I called Justice Against Mandates, the JAM documents for this truther, because he'd be doing interviews and wouldn't know how to, guide people. So I said, here, and I spent 3 months on it. So COVID burnt me out, but so yeah, if you can't see, I'm losing my focus now.
So it escalated. That's okay. So it escalated with your brother one particular evening.
I guess in the on the sidelines, he was like listening, lurking on my Facebook page and seeing all my posts. I never spoke directly to him. He had gotten the vax, and sure enough, maybe 8 weeks later, he's diagnosed with kidney cancer. Okay, he was early 50s at this point, like a young early 50 at this point. And I'm like, I just, at that point, a lot of people didn't know a lot about the vax, what it could cause. And I knew a lot. And it was just, it was kind of like a curse and a blessing at the same time. I don't know. It's very involved. They had it out for me. And, a lot of people say that sometimes the vax could create, the truther that I had worked for, who was very fringe, said that, it can invite demons and do all this kind of stuff, change your personality, makes you more violent, things like this. Not certain if that's true, but that was my experience, because I literally went down to, after my brother had his kidney removed, I waited a couple of weeks for a very specific reason. But I went down with my dogs, gave him a hug, said, I love you so much. I'm so glad you made it through. I'd been texting him the whole time, sending him, all sorts of things. And his wife was home, and suddenly she saw me. It's so involved, you guys. I don't even know where to start.
Well, that's okay. I mean, but did it escalate into something physical then? I
Yes,
mean,
it
was it
did.
something?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was. He pushed me off the front porch. I mean, slate steps. Then she pushed me, screaming at me, calling me every name on the book. I had a dress on. I had my two dogs, a dog in each hand. I'm on the front lawn. Thank God I missed the slate. I'm on the front lawn, and my sister-in-law, literally, they were possessed. I saw it in their faces. There's no other explanation. So in a way, like, I've forgiven them. I know that wasn't them. They were not in their right mind.
Right,
They were
right.
possessed. I mean, it was frightening. And so she's kicking me and kicking me and kicking me on the ground. And I mean, I have a photo. My upper thigh was one big bruise.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was pretty serious. It was pretty serious. And the sad thing is that I didn't speak about it afterwards. My mom was dying of cancer, and I didn't want her to know this. He picked up the phone, called my mom the next day, and retold the whole story. Like, he got ahead of it, and he told a false narrative to everybody that I came down there looking for a fight after he had his kidney removed. I mean, so I have to live with that. Like, I have to live with people like actually believing them. And anyway,
Yes.
but it was, so that was pretty difficult. It's
Yeah,
been
no,
pretty difficult.
that is, to have your brother do something like that, it's mentally, not only physically, but it has to be mentally devastating. And then having it lied to about, and we're so used to trying to spread the truth and getting people understanding lies, but when it hits your family and it physically escalates like that, that's devastating. So
Yeah.
your brother still lives 3 doors down from you.
Yeah.
Do you speak to him?
No. My nephew, his firstborn, I have 3 kids. He has 3 kids. They grew up together. Their whole childhood was, same ages. He just got married in November 1st, and we weren't invited.
Oh,
And I mean, this is like a big Cuban family. Like, that's just like, so he made that decision, right? I mean, I've prayed about it since day one, and, I've held back. The messages I've been getting is, just leave it be,
Right.
just step back. And, I've learned a lot. Like, I've learned really for the first time in my life that God does close doors for us sometimes.
Right.
That's been really hard. But I think that even the harder thing after that incident was the fact that I'm in a small town surrounded by all my family, including my mother. And, they all were told, they found out this story, and not one of them called me to see if I was okay. Not even my mom, like, didn't call to say, hey, what happened? What's your, like, tell me, are you okay? Never. And to this day, there's only, 2 brothers, actually. I finally, like, got together with them and explained it. But, it's so strange. Like, it's just like the Great Awakening. Like, they don't want to know any negative.
Yes.
They don't want to
Right.
know it. They don't want to be attached to any of it,
Right.
And
Yes.
so that was very difficult. And but I had to let it go and to just give it to God. I mean,
Right.
it's been scary.
Laura, I think a lot of people can relate to this. A lot of people can relate to Sean. So his is, I mean, to an extreme, obviously, but yours is also to an extreme when it comes to being alienated from your family, because, most people of us think as a brother as your warrior, right?
Right.
When you have a brother.
Yeah.
And, but what struck me in my head so strongly, when all of this comes out, and he actually feels that same level of spirituality and God's love that we have, because we're all going to rise to it,
Right.
hopefully, except for 4 to 6%, right?
Yeah.
He's going to be devastated as to what he did to you.
Yeah.
It's and what a blessing as a sister you are, and he has no idea at this moment. But you're such an incredibly strong person, and there's so many people like you around the world who have been alienated by their family,
Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
all of these people are know the greater good of God in order to be able to go forward, because there's nothing more devastating than losing the faith and perceived love of your family. right now.
Yeah. To just not have that support system, and it's jarring. It's, and it also affected my children. It's affected everything. And I'm in a small town.
course.
Just that's why I said, like, the chat family, like, God sent me Med and Sean, like, last year. It was like they picked me up, and I'm just,
Yes.
I'm just really grateful.
It's hard,
I mean,
chemo. I'm going through something similar. I have only one sibling who is
right.
giving me a very hard time and telling untruths. And she has my niece and nephew who I adore, and she has alienated us. And he just got engaged, and everybody flew out to San Francisco for the engagement party, and not me.
I'm so
And
sorry.
she did the same thing to my mom, and deprived her of her time with her grandchildren in the last 8 years. So, and there's nothing I can do. What am I going to do? Go to my niece and nephew and say, "Let me tell the real story. Your mom's evil." I can't take their mother away from them.
Yeah.
It's you just got to hope that it's like you said, time. I just hope that time will, and like you said, for some reason, God does close doors in chapters in our life and redirects us, and we don't understand why. But I'm hoping I'll look back and go, "Oh, okay."
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
You just can't imagine that they just leave you out of such an, and it's for the kids too, right? Like your niece and nephew, like they're the ones, they're being affected too, and they can't, you can never undo it.
No, you can't.
Right.
You can't get those years back. That's the hard part.
You can't undo it. Yeah.
So it's
and just like, just to hear you ladies talk, it's just exactly what happened with Sean a generation earlier. What his parents did was devastating to him. In fact, it affected him his entire life. And what is happening with the children now who have these parents that have this Trump derangement syndrome and are not themselves, they're losing their mind. They're affecting their children so negatively. And so it's going to be interesting to see this next generation that comes and has to be faced with some truths and faced with understanding that their parents were just psychologically not able to handle things.
Yeah.
But Sean, to get back to you for a minute, I want to show a couple pictures of you. This is the charm of being a young child. There's a couple pictures that you sent as a young child, and you look at a picture not knowing anything except for the picture, and you see this cute kid on a. Tell us
Actually,
about that picture.
I took those glasses from Biden.
well, it's better at staying on the bike than he is.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I didn't fall off.
That's so fun. And then this picture.
That was my breakdancing days.
That one's cute.
Very cool.
Yeah, we used to open up the cardboard boxes and flatten them out, and then we used to like break dance and stuff like that. I actually used to put my hat out, and I used to make money.
Awesome.
That is just so cute. And then look at the smile on your face.
Okay, so the reason why I gave you this picture, and I want to tell you this, is because right after that picture was taken, my father beat my mother up, beat me up, and broke the Christmas tree in the background, and that was on Christmas Day. I was 4 years old.
I'm sorry.
All my toys, he just, like I said, listen, look, I'm gonna say this, and when it comes to the end, where I come to the end of this, and I let you know that this all happened for a reason.
Yeah.
It all happened to make me who I am right now, sitting in front of you guys. Okay, this it needed to happen, and God did it to me because He knew I was going to be able to handle it.
Yeah.
So that's why it needed to happen, and yeah.
Sean, do you how did it affect your Christmases going forward? Because as we get older, I think, it's fun most of the time it's fun when we're kids, but it seems like holidays can very much be triggers for people. And there's so much buildup and expectation. I think expectations is probably,
I
the plot.
personally, I'm not a big holiday person, but I have 2 kids. So
Yeah.
I have to put on that, that mask,
Right.
so I'm not myself like, like, oh, holiday, whatever, but I decorate the whole house. I get everything ready because why should what happened to me, why should I put it on to anybody, especially my own
Agreed.
kids? Why should I put it on to
Right.
anybody else? It doesn't make any sense to me. I
Right.
mean, why should I make other people feel the way I felt? It
Yeah.
makes yeah, I'm not that type of person. I have one small story. This my mother used to tell me this story. I was about 5 years old, and there was a homeless man that was across the street from our home, and he was laying on the sidewalk, and it was pouring out. This is how my mother knew the type of person I was going to be. I sat in the house hysterical crying because I felt like he was cold, and I made my mother go out and give him a jacket.
Yeah.
That's you, Sean.
Yes. Absolutely. Oh, it's interesting. This just came into my head. So you had parents that were blinded by drugs,
Uh-huh.
and now there are parents and siblings that are blinded by psyops and what it's amazing what the mind can do and how devastating it can have the effects on other people um in this time. So Sean, before we go on,
Sure.
explain, because I know I mean, a devastating part of your life, which I don't know about, but you've mentioned it. You said you were assaulted or you were abused somehow. Do you want to go into that at
Yeah,
all, or
sure.
no?
That's no problem. The first time it happened, I was with my father's father, my grandfather on my father's side. They were taking me to, remember Action Park?
Mm.
Oh,
Mm-mm.
so Q-Mom might know because Action Park, I think, was in PA or something at the time, or
I
like,
thought it
yeah, it
was
was
in
PA.
Jersey, but yeah, like on the
Yeah, there
border
was one in
somewhere. People
PA.
from Jersey
So
would go, yeah.
on the way there, see, my grandfather had to remarry, but he remarried before I was born. My grandmother, my father's real mother, passed away in '77. I was 79. I was born
Mhm.
'79, so I wasn't around to meet her or anything like that. And my grandfather remarried a Filipino woman. She was really, really nice. She was great to me. But on the way to Action Park, she had family that she wanted to visit because it was on the way there. So we stopped off there, and I actually remember what was on TV too, what they were watching. They were watching Abbott and Costello, and the guy was about 18 or 19, and it was his sister. Sister was a little younger, and he made me sit on his lap, and he had his hand down my pants, and she was kissing me on my neck.
Wow. Yeah,
So,
that's um it's, and obviously did they tell you not to say anything? Were they didn't
well,
even
they did, but big mouth that I am. I Soon as I got home, soon as I came back, I went straight to my mother, and my mother right away she found out. She called the cops. She got the cops involved. He was arrested. She was arrested. And
Wow.
my favorite part of this is he was actually going to college to be a pediatrician.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Talk about interrupting that.
Yeah,
Wow.
Wow.
yeah.
It's
So,
amazing.
yeah, the guy was going to college to be a pediatrician, and, see, this is the bad part of my life was my mother and father at times, they were great. I had great times with them, but then it got interrupted all
Mm.
the time with drugs. Like, they would stay straight, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it would just at a snap of a finger, it would just happen
Mm.
all over again. So I think that was worse for me. If it was bad all the time, that I would have been used to it.
Well, that just messes with your trust because they're
Yeah,
there
Yeah.
and things are going fine, and then it's
yeah,
yanked, and then over and over and over again. That's very mentally.
Yes.
Not
Yeah.
good.
That
Yeah.
I mean, that's more devastating because Tricia, because you don't know what to expect. You
Yeah.
know?
Well,
I
you
mean,
don't so you're never gonna trust anybody or count on anybody. It makes it even harder because it's like, "Oh, yeah, they might be good now," but you're always waiting for the rug to be pulled, so it's gotta really mess with you mentally.
Always. Every day was just something different. Every day was I didn't know what to expect. So,
Yeah.
it it's so weird. It's such a blessing in so many ways because I didn't pay attention to school because my mind was so actively, like, at home and what's gonna happen. But there was a reason why I didn't wanna pay attention in schools because school was we already
Brainwashing.
know, brainwashing. So I didn't get that
Mhm. Yeah.
brainwash because my
Yeah.
mind was completely it's like God was kinda tweaking me in a way. Like, "This is what I'm gonna do to you. This is what I'm getting you ready for." You know? And
yeah.
there's
Yes.
certain things in your life that you're gonna go through to get to where you have to. Like, I had to reflect back on my life right now and understand what had happened to me, and
Right.
understand that and I will tell you this, and I'm looking at the chat on my other computer screen, and I'm gonna say this to you, everybody out there. I love you so much. Ellen, Tricia, Laura, Medexam. I mean, I love all you guys so much. I mean, I have so much heart for everybody in this movement. You know, I'm gonna just say, it all started with David Becker. I have such a profound love for David Becker and his wife Carrie and how they brought me into everything. And then I also have a profound love also for Rambo and Dave because that's where I they birthed me, you know, pretty much. They literally birthed, I came on as Sean and the girls, and
Mhm.
it was just like a thing. And then look where I am now. I
Have they
mean,
paid child support?
I'm
Yeah.
still waiting. Rambo's late on it. He's late on child support.
Oh, it's so interesting how we all do intertwine and we just meet and intertwined and then come together and I was actually looking at a Telegram chat that's not in this corner of the internet, and they were talking about the Epstein files, and they were saying, "I told," and he was cussing in the Telegram, "I told my family, blah blah blah, that they're wrong about all this, and I was right." And I'm like thinking, "Gosh, he hasn't gotten the peaceful pill yet about how we're going to have to deal with people, you know."
Yeah.
But our corner is the peaceful pill of how we're gonna have to deal with people, thank goodness, and we have found each other. Um, but I wanna get back and show a couple pictures of Laura too, because you have such some cute pictures that obviously, that you don't even know are coming up here. Um,
Oh no.
that's okay. This one looks like a wedding.
Oh
You're
my gosh. Yeah. My wedding day. Almost 37 years ago.
wow, that's
Yeah.
so fantastic. Um, is that recent?
Yeah, that's pretty recent. That's like maybe 3 years ago. It's my mom to the far right, my youngest daughter on the bottom, my oldest daughter next to me, my sister-in-law who they're great. They're I say my family, I have the light side and the dark side. So that's the light side right there. And then my awesome nephew Steven, who's like right above me, and that's my brother Carlos. He's the one who actually texted me. I didn't know anything was going on January 6th. I know you had a similar experience, Ellen, but he's
Yes.
the one who texted me going back to my Airbnb. I was like oblivious. He's like, "You mind calling home, and letting us know you're okay?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And
Yeah,
then,
yeah.
yeah. So anyway, that's them. Yeah.
That's nice. That's so
Oh,
nice.
oh, that's
And
I have, you guys, I have so many nieces and nephews. Like over 18. And then I have great nieces and nephews now. So that's
oh,
my
wow.
those are two of my great nieces
So cute.
right there. Yeah.
So
Like a couple
cute.
years ago. Yeah.
So
Aw.
sweet. So sweet pictures. And I think I want to find them. I think you have some animals too. Do you have a guinea pig and a puppy and
You gotta show the guinea pig. So cute.
Wait, do you have a guinea pig in the Christmas dress?
Yes.
Oh, that was Butterscotch. May she rest in peace. She was awesome. Oh my gosh, that was okay. I had a friend in town who, I always share pictures of Butterscotch and my Cavalier King Charles Spaniel at that time, and she I guess she went to Five Below, and there was like a little Velcro dress for like a doll. And she's like, here, this is a Christmas dress for Butterscotch. So that was Butterscotch's last year. Yeah.
That is so cute.
Butterscotch looks thrilled. And then you have one.
Gagglesmack, no way.
Is that also Butterscotch?
That's awesome.
What did Butterscotch think about that?
Oh my gosh. I
A
mean,
skateboard.
listen, they were on for the ride. It's all good.
Oh, too
What could go
funny.
wrong?
What's that?
Yeah.
What could go wrong?
I know, right?
Yeah.
I just,
Oh, too funny.
oh, my
And then
little loves. That was they're both watching out for me now. They're my little angels. But that's Lulu to the right. That's my Cavalier King Charles Spaniel, and then that was a Miller to the left, who was a Lab Rescue mix. And I'd never had a big dog, and I'd never had two, and I'd never had a rescue. And he was already like 4 or 5 years old when we got him, and he had been hit by a car in the back. He had to have surgery for heartworm, and oh my God, guys, right there, you're looking at pure devotional, unconditional love and service. I mean,
agreed.
Lulu's a little ticked off because he came into her, 10 years after, but he's amazing. He was amazing. Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
I mean, that's what animals, I think that is a part of the reason why they're here is for that
Absolutely.
unconditional love. And Tricia has an unconditional love right by her side,
Little
actually.
Ivy,
She's
right?
usually very close by.
Yeah,
She
yes,
likes to get the
always.
zoomies right before we start our show.
Aw.
I want to go just a little bit longer because I have more questions. But Sean, so is your mom still alive?
No, both my mother and my father passed. My mother passed in 2021.
Okay.
And my father passed 2 years ago in
Oh,
2024.
he outlived your mom.
Yes, yes.
Wow.
Yeah. But it was okay. The fire.
Yes,
The fire happened in January 6th
of course.
of 2016. It was January 6th of 2016. And it was about 11:30 at night. The next door neighbor was pounding on our door. We lived in row homes, if you ever know what a row home
Okay,
is. Okay.
sure.
So they saw the fire happening in the back of the house. They got our attention. Now, my mother and my father were living with us. We kept them because, they were older and they were watching my daughter, my oldest one, as they were okay. They were doing good at the time. So they were watching my daughter as me and my wife would go to work, and it would help us quite a bit.
Mhm.
And we had the fire. I get out, but all of us get out of the house. Thank God. Within 5 minutes, the whole house was up in flames.
Wow.
We had just made it out. It started in the back, and the smoke was billowing out of the front window within 5 minutes. So we
Wow.
lost pretty much everything we owned. Everything we had, everything we owned was gone. I had a
Did it
friend of
affect the
mine.
two? Did it affect the
It
two other
did a little
houses?
bit. Yeah, it did a little bit. It did a little bit.
Mhm.
The firemen were great. They got there. They took it out. Actually, the fire wasn't what destroyed everything, really. It was the smoke and the water.
Oh,
That's
mhm.
what
Yeah.
really did the damage.
Yeah.
The fire did its damage, yeah, in that one area, but when they came in and they just soaked the house, and with the smoke and everything, they destroyed everything. It
Yeah.
wasn't their
Mm.
fault. They had to do it. I understand it's their job. They have to do it, make sure that they get everything out. But I had a friend of mine that lived down the block, and I stayed with him the night, and me and my wife didn't even sleep. We pretty much just sat there trying to figure out what to do next. So because now
Yeah.
me and my wife and my kid are homeless.
Yeah.
So now what do? We've lost everything we've owned. We have nothing.
Yep.
And I
But
wound up staying with my mother-in-law for about a month. She lived in Brooklyn also. So, and I stayed with her for about a month, my mother-in-law. My mother and father wound up going to Jersey. because my family lived out in Jersey, my side of the family.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I got a call from my cousin, and she said to me, she was like, listen, I could help you out, but you're going to have to move to Jersey for me to help you. And me and Shanta decided, we were like, okay, this is what we have to do. I
Mhm.
mean, we got up and we left, and we moved out to Jersey. We've been out here for about 10 years now. I went from being homeless to owning my own home now.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a turning point. There are people like you who've had these major turning points in their lives.
Hmm.
And Paul of Absolute Storm, he had that fire too, and he's
Hmm.
had those turning points that just have changed you, and at a moment where you had to change course,
Hmm.
just like that.
Yeah.
And so your parents stayed together that whole time?
Well, yeah, they stayed by the friend of mine that I had down the block. My mother was friends with the aunt, one who owned the home. So basically, she stayed there for a little bit with my father for a couple of weeks, maybe 2 weeks, and then wound up actually going. And my cousin picked them up, and they wound up coming out to Jersey because that was the plan. So everybody knew we were going out to Jersey. So they came to Jersey first to stay with my cousin for a while until me, Shanser, and Hayden got ourselves together to come out here. I had to get money from the owner of the home. I gave him a nice little talk, and I said, I was like, either you give me money or I take you to court and I take everything you have. So he wound up cutting me a check for about 10 grand, and I used that to get my life started again.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so the latter years before your parents passed, was there any acknowledgement of what happened? Was it peaceful? Was there reconciliation? How did those last couple of years go?
It was probably the worst of it. It was the
Really?
worst of it. Yeah, it got way worse. And my mother, because of now, uh, there's a part that's left out, but I don't want to take up too much time. But it was about my sister, and she found her.
What do you
She
mean she
did.
found
No,
her?
it went really bad.
Oh,
It just didn't go well, and my mother had a nervous breakdown, and she went completely out of her mind about it. She thought it was going to be something completely different. She always would tell me is when I was younger about my sister when I found out about it. And that's all she would talk about because now I knew. But it didn't go well. It went really south really fast.
Do you have a
why?
relationship with her son?
No, she is. I know this for a fact. You want to talk about TDS? This is the queen of TDS. She wants to kill me because I
Oh,
believe in Trump.
nice.
Yeah, she actually said to me, she was like, "I would love to shoot you."
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, people have lost their minds. And
Yeah.
and so did she end up having a relationship at all with your mom?
For a little bit, and then, like I said, she was not right in her head. Also, there was something going on. Sometimes I actually feel like I was adopted. I don't know. I'm still
Yeah,
thinking about that. I'm still trying to
I
figure that one out. I'm like, I don't know about this. But what happened was that we were here, we were in Jersey, and my mother started getting dementia around
cool.
2019, 2020, around COVID time. And she
Mhm.
started suffering. We saw her decline. I saw things that,
Mhm.
that I normally wouldn't see. And she started using more pills and more things and drinking actually, which my mother never did. So she started drinking. And my father was supplying her with all this stuff,
That's a pattern.
and then because she was doing it, he felt that it was okay for him to do it.
Right.
It got to the point where my mother wound up having to go to a like a rehabilitation center for
Mhm.
older adults, or, like a home rehabilitation center.
Yep.
And my mother was there for a long time. She was getting better because they wouldn't let her do anything,
Mhm.
and so I saw her a couple of times. Couldn't really see her because of COVID. So I couldn't
Oh,
really get
yeah.
to see her. So they wouldn't let us in. She wound up passing away, and I didn't get to say goodbye to her. It's okay. I did it on my own time. I did
Yep.
it on my own
Yep.
time. I didn't need
Yep.
to be there. I did it on my own time.
I'm with you.
With my father, I didn't get to see him either because, well, I had to throw him out in the other apartment that I was in. I just told MedExam this story. Nobody really knew about it, what had happened to me in 2020. Between COVID, having two kids, my mother in a home, and my father doing drugs, my cousin decided because she owned the house and my cousin got divorced with her husband at that time. She decided that she wanted to sell the house and I needed to get out. So I was getting thrown out of a house. I don't know anybody around. I'm going through COVID with the kids. My daughter's not going to school. I'm trying to figure that out. And I have all this going on.
It's a lot.
And yeah, and I just pretty much had a nervous breakdown in the car. I freaked out. I was like, I didn't know what to do. Like there was so many things going on. I My cousin calls me, the one who owned the house, and she's like, I want you to come over. I said no. She was like, no, you need to come over here now. We spoke. She wanted me to see this house I'm in right now. And I had like I was pretty much I had no money. I didn't have anything to save. I grew up that way. That's just the way I grew up. I grew up poor. I knew nothing of having money. I knew nothing of
Yeah.
that. That was not anything that I it was a part of my life.
Right.
Welfare, food stamps, the whole nine yards. Um, so I want to make this fast because I know that you want to wrap up too. Basically, I was going through all that, and I had to move. I had to let my father go out of the house. I had to call the cops, and I had to get him out because he was getting high really bad, and I didn't want my daughters to go through what I went through. So I
Absolutely.
called it quits. I called it quits at that
Right.
point, and I know it was a big decision I had to make,
Yeah.
but I needed to do that, and I did. And I've been living in my home now for about 6 years now, and I actually had it was hard for me for the first year because it was the first time in my life that drugs wasn't a conversation in the home.
Fascinating. Wow.
So I had to
Yeah.
get used to that. Like it didn't register in my head.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh, and
That,
the only thing that saved me, that kept me sane,
right. Yeah.
was Q.
Oh,
That's the only thing
really?
that kept me sane. Yeah. That's the only thing that kept me sane was Q because I was digging at the time too. I learned about Q in 2018. I was a year
Mm-hmm.
late, dollar short. So, you know, I learned about Q in 2018. I was digging at the time and I was going through that too. So you can imagine.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out what's going on. The one thing my father told me before it went south, he said to me, he was like, this was during the election and we watched it. He was okay that day. So we were sitting there watching it all night until 3:30 in the morning, and we saw what was happening. My father turned to me. He said to me, he was like, "You're gonna have to really, really be prepared for the next 5 years because it's gonna get crazy." Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. My father was a huge Trump fan. My mother was a huge Trump fan too. That's the one thing I got to say. That was one thing I didn't have to worry about. But the rest of my family are full blown TDS. Full blown TDS.
Hmm.
Wow. And so finally this last chapter with your parents, just to finish that out.
Yeah.
So sounds like your dad was around for a year or two after your mom passed by himself. Did you spend much time with him? Was there any resolution with him when it
No,
was just him?
no.
No?
There was what happened was that when I threw him out and I had to call the cops, there was multiple times I had to do that because he was trying to break into the house that we were still in and try to get into the house, and we had to keep calling the cops. And it wound up that when I was moving, I had to keep I moved by myself. Like, I literally moved a whole entire apartment by myself into the new house. I had no help, nobody, furniture, boxes, everything by myself in one day. And it was an ice storm.
Oh, of course.
There's freaking Q drops everywhere. No, I'm just kidding. Um, you know, so I had to get it all to the house. Fine. And I had to watch out because I didn't know where he was. He
Oh,
wound up uh, um, using drugs, and he had a severe stroke in a motel. They found him. The cops called me up, and I kept in contact. He wound up being in the same rehabilitation center as my mother was in, and I didn't know anything that was going on. He was there. They would call me up every so often just to let me know how his health was doing. A year later, I had found out a funeral parlor called me up and said, I just want to let you know that your father is here. And I was
oh
like, in my mind, I was like, he got out of the place and like walked over there because
my-
his mental state was not good.
Yeah,
And they were like,
yeah.
no, no. They were like, no, 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 his body. I was like,
Oh
what do you
my
mean his
God.
body? And they were like, we have his body here. We would like for you to come and make sure it's him. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, I didn't even know my father died.
Well, that's
Nobody told
nuts.
me.
Wow.
Yeah, nobody told
Wow.
me.
I mean, it kind of goes along with the rest of your life, Sean. I mean, it's all so chaotic all the way to the
Yeah,
very end,
yeah, yeah. But
Uh,
you know what? When my mother and father passed away, they gave me their wings so I could fly.
Oh, yes. I
So
love that.
that's where I am now. And I'm here to help
That,
everybody out there.
oh,
You're
I
helping
love
a
that
lot of people.
statement.
You're helping a lot of people, Sean. Yeah, you've
Yes.
sent many, quite a few my way as well. And they're beautiful people.
They are everybody in our movement, everybody in our family. This is what got me to be who I am. And this is I
Yes.
love everybody out there. I'm so happy that you did this for us. I really am.
Oh my goodness.
You're an angel. You and Ellen and Tricia, you're both angels.
We're just
that's
vessels.
great.
Well,
Laura,
We're
I'm not
think we're,
forgetting about you. I love you too.
Look, girl. Dude, come on.
I mean,
You know you're my
honestly,
angel.
you can tell I mean, I see it. Oh,
Yeah,
look at
Oh,
that hug. It's,
oh my gosh.
so
that's
beautiful.
so wonderful to come hug your dad. And I see it so clearly, that we're all doing what we're supposed to be doing. And yay, another hug. That's so wonderful. I love it. Yay.
That's
What a
beautiful.
wonderful family. And what a wonderful family and an extended family now that we have. And it's just so divine and it's so meant to be. And
Mhm.
I'm just so grateful to be
Look at
able
those
to be
blessings,
here.
Sean. Those
I bless,
beautiful
yes,
blessings.
I-
Beautiful.
You
Hey,
know,
out of that
send it
whole
around.
chaos.
I'll tell you the truth. Listen, look. I mean, what you guys do, what we're doing is we're doing something different. I love Rambo. I love Dave. I love Stormy. I love Abs. They do what they do, but I felt
Right.
that something needed to be different. I
Agreed.
felt that there was a shift that we needed to help each other because we had
Yes.
gone through the last 5 years of being poked, about being thrown in the dark, about put in the corner, and just, we've gone through hell and we're not
Mhm.
finished yet. And we have more to do. And the one thing we have to do is we have to dust ourselves off. We have to clean ourselves up and get better because we have more work to do. And that's when I
Yes.
felt that I needed to do this and I needed to help the Anon community. And that's where I was.
Yes. And you're at a place where you feel like you can after all that you've
Yeah.
been through,
Yeah.
and the timing of that is perfection, obviously, because this is the time that
Yeah.
it is needed and moving forward even more so. I mean, it's just incredible. So
Because
Laura, just to to
I was just thinking,
Tricia, you want to say
Sean,
something?
4 months ago, where were you? You never thought you were going to be a
Yeah.
podcaster just 4 months ago.
Yes.
If you would have
Well,
told me this a year ago, I would have laughed at you.
yeah, I
I'm
know.
That's amazing.
How cool is that? I mean, this is just so cool that we could be talking to each other like this,
I
and
know.
people are talking in the chat who I consider friends, and we all do. It's just a wonderful, wonderful, I think well-deserved little pocket of family feeling because it's been so we've had to function without it for, but being on our own. And as Sean said, he feels like he's been adopted. I mean, that's a narrative too. I think there's a lot of people in their family, they feel like where I'm not so
Right.
I'm so different from everyone
Yeah.
else in my family,
Yeah.
So Laura, just to get kind of closer to where we are, I would love to hear a little bit about, your January 6th, because Tricia told me that you went there by yourself. I did too. I felt
I know, it's
definitely
amazing.
that I was supposed to go.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and so I'm grateful that I went. Aren't you grateful that you went?
I completely am grateful. Yeah. I mean, it was a rough experience coming home, but I'm extremely grateful. I wouldn't have traded it for the world.
And why was it a rough experience going home?
Well, you know, like I said, I went there. I went by myself. I'd asked my husband if he'd want to come with me. No, no. I asked my son. No. Okay. So, apparently all these people that were concerned about me going on my own, after the fact, weren't there to
Right.
accompany me. So you know what? That was a point of contention when I got home. Basically, long story short, when I got home to my nuclear family here, my 3 kids, my husband, I promise you guys, they thought I was Patty Hearst. Like, okay. No, like, and I'm so glad that you get that reference because I say it to a lot of people and a certain generation doesn't know who Patty Hearst is. So I'm trying to think of who can I use generation wise where they can understand. I was treated like Patty Hearst because remember at that time I was working with a truther who was kind of fringe 24/7. So they were like, oh, they literally somehow thought in their heads that, knowing me, like that I had gone and, orchestrated and masterminded this entire takedown of the Capitol. I'm like, hi, have we met? Have we met? But it was so anyway, the whole lesson in that was that, again, and I've worked in the media like my whole life as a publicist, but it was just fascinating to me. I mean, I can literally tell everyone firsthand the unbelievable power that the media has. Okay. My family, the people, my immediate, my children, like they know me. People who know me best, love me best, will take a bullet for me.
Right.
They were believing the news
Yeah.
and not me. And I'm
Yes.
like I said, I went, and I deal with autoimmune, so it was a big deal for me to get up early, get there, whatever. I did it, and to be honest with you, my whole reasoning was I felt like I had to be there, and I thought, wow, you know what? I know this is going to be a historical day. I don't know what's going to happen, but I know it's going to be
Right.
historical, and I just want that story for when and if I have any future grandchildren. So
Hmm.
now I do. And I mean, now I have the story. I don't have the grandchildren yet.
Right. Yeah.
But so that's why I went, and it was actually incredible. I was by myself, but God's so good, like literally sent me an angel and a man who was like in his mid-60s, also up on his own. His family didn't want to go. He we both got out of our Ubers at the same time on the ellipsis and said hello to one another, and he stayed by my side the entire day, was completely quiet, was very, respectful, kept to his own. I don't even remember his name now. I lost it. I lost his number, everything. It's kind of weird. But
Yeah.
I made friends there. And, to me, it was the most beautiful, loving, spiritual, uplifting, safe, patriotic, unifying, magical experience of my life. And waiting for Trump. And then, so he came on like over an hour late, maybe. And when he
Hmm.
started saying his usual speech, I was like, oh, bummer. It's not, nothing's going to happen. Like he's not bringing, Biden out in handcuffs,
Yeah.
in my fantasy,
Yeah.
in my fantasy.
Right.
But, so it was very, somber, and it was cold that day. And so anyway, okay, so I walk up to the, we leave, walk up to the Capitol steps. I walked all the way up to the Capitol step. And then I had to, I left, I literally just touched. I was like, I told the people I was walking with, I'm like, I got to go. I only have 1 bar left. I got to get an Uber back to my Airbnb. So I ran because it was about to die. And that was it. And I promise you, I saw nothing, heard nothing. You guys, I had to come home. Okay, this is embarrassing. I literally had to come home and Google aerial view of the Capitol in Washington, D.C., so that I could better understand the directions where I was, where everything was. What happened? I don't know what happened, because what's on the TV did not happen in my reality. And
Right.
Ellen, they had internet cut off because God forbid we could put up photos on Twitter in real time to tell the truth, right?
Yeah.
So
Right.
then going home to my Airbnb, then I get a call from my brother. Hey, you mind calling home and letting us know you're okay? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Here I was filled with love. So, oh my God, high vibe. I was like, this is great. I love America. And he's like, what are you I'm like, what are you talking about? So I got back to my Airbnb. I put on the news and I'm like, what? What?
Crazy.
Did that happen on the side that I walked up to just earlier, or did it happen on the other side? Was Antifa, the trumped up Antifa theater, was that brought to the other side? I just couldn't make sense of it, and I still haven't. I was telling Tricia, because a little bit is PTSD for me, and so I don't really want to go back to that. But all I know is that it's scary. I mean, everybody here thought they could only believe. They only had that to work with, what they saw on the news.
Yeah. I know it is the power of that. And I felt the same way. That's why I really wept when I saw what was happening, because I knew that the American people had been duped.
Yeah.
And big time. And I have to just add this, the thing that made me sad, because I knew we were duped, but what made me mad is because my passion for Abraham Lincoln,
Yeah.
my whole life. The next day I went to the Lincoln Memorial, and they had policemen lined the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, so I could not, because we were the bad guys. Right?
Yeah.
They would not allow us to go up the steps to the Lincoln Memorial to go and visit Abraham Lincoln up there. And I looked at them and I thought, you effers, you gotta be
Yeah.
kidding. I can't go up and
It
see
was
my
all
favorite guy in the world because
twisted.
I'm the bad guy. That I couldn't wrap my head around it, that we all stood there looking at them like they're painting the narrative that we're the bad guys, and every possible way. So it's all gonna come out. It's all gonna come out. So it's
Oh, for
okay.
sure.
You
I mean,
know?
I think a lot of it, thankfully has come out, like that Woo's News or Woo's News or Moo's News, the video about Ashley Babbitt. It's so
Yeah,
obvious.
yes. It's
There's
so
things
so
like that
obvious.
that support what we're saying. But did you see
Yeah.
any of it, Ellen, that day? Did you see any of what was going
Yeah,
on?
and I've told this before, so I'll just be really quick that when I got up to the lawn, that's when, to your point, everything was loving. It was a group of very spiritual but badass people marching, but in a
Yeah.
loving, singing,
I mean,
glorious,
prayers,
loving,
gospel
wonderful
hymns,
prayers,
Jesus
everything.
flags.
Yeah, but then at the lawn was when it got really dark, not dark clouds, but
Right.
this dark heaviness. And then I saw there's these Molotov cocktails going on. And I was like, holy smokes. And so I walked back, and that's what my daughter called, because she was watching TV. She's like, I'm like, I'm going, I'm going, I'm going. But it's when the real history gets out about events, I mean, everything is going to have to be rewritten. Don't you all think? I mean, that's just one
Oh,
teeny
no,
little speck
no doubt.
of,
I mean, I think it's already being rewritten. I think it's just waiting in the wings. But
yeah,
how did you so did you stay for the duration of Trump's speech? Because I'm literally still trying
no.
to figure out why I didn't see any of these things happening. I saw
Yeah,
nothing. I don't know
yeah,
what
I
the
don't,
timing was there.
I actually was there. I didn't watch his speech. I was there afterwards because I was driving from work. So I don't know what the timing was, but
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
it's just
So that's
crazy.
right.
but it's just interesting to live with these events. But I want to talk to you three just really quickly about, I feel the same feeling in a really opposite good way about the July 4th week in Washington, D.C. coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Donald Trump has told us that from June 25th or 6th or whatever it is to July 10th, that's going to be a huge week, huge. And my husband's brother works for the park service up there, and he said they're already having big meetings about it. And so there's going to be huge celebrations up there, huge. So if I've already booked an Airbnb because I think it's going to be something big. So if you're able to, anybody, that's just my
Smart.
gut
I didn't even
feeling
think
on
of
that.
that. Yeah.
But anyway, I don't want to take up all the time with that. But they, because we are all like energetic people, our energy is really cut through the internet and everything. I could just feel it with everybody, and this has been so joyous. Haven't you enjoyed this, Tricia?
I have.
I
It's been
know, like
awesome.
family.
There's a, yeah, it's just nice to be able to, boy, Ellen, I've told you this before too. Ellen and I were talking the other day about like, do we do it live or who do we have? And then, I was like, Ellen, we can do whatever we want. We don't have a
Yeah.
boss. We don't have a
Yeah.
producer. We don't have an advertiser that, we can do whatever we want. We can talk to whoever we want. We can be on for an hour or 2 hours. Like,
You're free.
I was saying, is this what it's supposed to be like when they talk about in the future as like we're not going to be in the same kind of slave system. We're going to be able to be creative and do what it is that we like to do and we enjoy doing without having to worry about the almighty dollar and corporate America, et cetera. And I was like, is this what it's going to be like? We actually get to go do what we want to do and enjoy it. Like, that's pretty cool.
I think so.
It is pretty cool, and hopefully that's coming. So just to round up, I just want to give you guys final thoughts. Laura, final thoughts on things going on, final thoughts on what you think is going to be happening this year in life and all that.
I'm right with you as far as, July of this year. And, of course, we're all afraid of the rug pull and all that. And so many things have happened and come and gone without, anything. But I always tell people, yeah, that day passed and we didn't see anything happening, but that doesn't mean nothing happened. I think in the future, we're going to learn that certain things did happen that day. You know what I mean?
Agreed. Yes.
So, yeah, no, I'll tell you what, I have been so positive and I've never lost my faith, never lost my faith.
Me either.
Ever. The three things that have always kept me sane are God, Q, and Trump. Those three things.
Yes.
And yeah, and of course, as we have to question everything, right? So of course, you have to question Trump. Is he the Antichrist? Is he the other side of the coin? Is he a Zionist puppet? So yeah, I've been down that road. I've done all the research. But as I told Tricia, and I'll just say quickly, the reason I started all this got me so impassioned was that on April 28th of 2016, after the primaries were finished and we were left with Trump and Hillary as our candidates, I was a little bit devastated. I like Trump, but I knew Hillary owned the media, and I was like, this blows. I can't even believe this. I was very down. So I literally got a message, like a divine message, and that message was, it doesn't happen often, so it's a big deal. It stopped me in my steps, right? And it stopped me in my steps, and what I was told was, this election is not about you. It is not about the people. It has been divinely appointed, and that's it. And I wasn't told which one, who, but I knew it was Trump. And from that day forward, I knew this was a spiritual war. I knew it wasn't, kinetic. I knew it was bigger than anything we could imagine. So because of that, everything for me, and then when I first discovered Q, it resonated right away. It was like a click. You know what I mean? Like it fit.
Yep.
It fit. And so those three things have kept me sane, and I've never lost my faith, and I still, it's not rolling out the way I think we early on, expected it to, right? We all wanted these huge perp walks, these parades, and,
I know.
But I think we needed that to get through that time, to be honest with you, because I think if we all knew that this was going to last 8 years or 10 years, well, I would have signed up.
Right,
At the
me
time
too,
that we
right,
signed
exactly.
up, we all thought it was going to be done in 6 months, right? So we're
Ah,
like, yeah, gung ho. And so in that way, I think, the Q boards did maybe use us, but necessarily so. And
that's right.
you know,
Agreed.
yeah. So I have total faith. I see good things
Me
happening every
too.
day.
Me
And I
too.
get frustrated when people are still so black pilled and down and out and this and that. I mean, I even started a channel. It's only got like 40 people. It's not a big deal on Telegram. Good news with QMon, just to
Oh,
focus
okay.
on good news.
Oh, good. It's
This is something
great.
good happening. I kind of dropped it for a while, but I'm revisiting now because people are just going into doom and gloom. But I have faith. I think this is going to be a big year. I think it's not going to happen overnight, but we just need one thing to pop. And I
Yep.
think we're all going to breathe easier knowing
Yep.
that the truth, the veil's been lifted. Now
Yes.
how we can start cleaning it up.
Absolutely love that. So one more time, it's good news.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's good
No,
news
just
with
tell
Q.
us.
Okay. I think it's good news with Q Mom. It's on
Okay, good news
Telegram.
with you, Mom, on Telegram. Fantastic, because I think
Yeah.
that's needed. That's part of I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you, Laura.
All
And
right.
Sean, first of all, I want to mention, of course, your show on Sundays at 3 o'clock. That show is just growing and growing. And tell us any last thoughts that you have for tonight.
Well, I'll just put it like this. I've said it before and I'll say it again. As tough as things might come, don't ever give up. Okay? Don't ever give up. Just keep knocking those walls down as many times as they build them. Knock them down. It doesn't matter. And from what you had mentioned before, Ellen, about the upcoming 4th of July, well,
Mhm.
you know what? The best is yet to come. I mean, we could all just say it that way. I mean, we could sum it up as the best is yet to come. We don't know exactly what it's going to be,
No.
but November 5th of 2024, we were proven to be right.
Mhm.
Okay. We were proven right. I think that was one of the biggest days that we were shown that what we were doing was the right path. And I just kept,
Mhm.
you just keep going from there. I love everybody in the chat, my whole family, everybody on the shows. I love all the podcasters. My show is at 3 o'clock Eastern time PM on Sundays. I'm gonna have all the anons come on. As many people as they want. I'll have the StreamYard link in the chat, and I'll also have it in the comment section on Rumble if you guys want to come on. The show is just going to be named News and Cues.
Love it.
Just, what? I don't have to tell you anything about it. I want everybody to come on and talk about what they think is going to happen. I want to hear what everybody has to say. Just come on. Don't be afraid. If you don't want to show your face, you don't have to show your face. You could just come on and just click the video. If you need to find out how to do that, just ask. Thank you. Thank you.
Yay.
This was very needed. Very needed.
Yes. And I hope people will go back and watch this show. This is one, we have some important ones, and I feel like this was a really, really important one. Don't you, Trish?
I do.
Yeah,
I
I do
this
too.
is well, I know that Sean's probably got more. He's got some great visibility out there, but I think I'm really excited that someone got over her camera shyness a little bit.
Yay.
'Cause this is big for you,
Yeah,
Mom,
And
and I
I have to thank Sean and Med for
you,
that because they're
yeah, you started
always.
on their show. That I
Yeah, and
know, and
actually, Med had asked me to go on this show months ago, and I was like, I literally froze when she said it, and I was like, I'll get back to you. So
yeah.
You had
Oh,
no choice.
I know Sean was not
You
going to
know,
let
do you know
me.
how I got her, right?
So
I
you
got
guys,
her because I told her I was going to make her dinner.
yeah, he's such a good cook.
Ooh.
aw,
Yeah, but
that's so nice.
I'm grateful. And you know what? And Beer too. I mean, Beer called me one
Mhm.
day and he just, and I just realized I felt silly, just like being so, like everybody, I'm enjoying everybody's stories and all the input, and it's helping me so much. And I know I have stories to share, and get over it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So thank you
Yeah.
guys for helping me to get over
Yay.
it. You have no
Yay. That's
idea. It's a big deal.
excellent. Well, that's what this show is all about, labor of love.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic. So I just want to go over a couple things because the Truth Teller Tales channel is growing a little bit, and with Tricia's show, Labor of Love, and this is we're going to continue to have fantastic shows. Next week we have Patriots Across the Pond, which is a podcast on Rumble. A lady's from Queens. She's from
Nice.
actually Long Island, and she partners with a fella from the UK, and they have a big thing coming up in Long Island in April, a big Awaken summit they're going to talk about, which I want you guys to go if possible. Um, that's coming next week on Labor of Love. And then the new show, The View of Truth, I really for years just despised The View on
Ugh.
ABC, even though they could be psyops, who knows? I don't know. But, I wanted to do the complete opposite of that and show good stories, godly stories, and have guests on. And that's live every Friday, 1 o'clock Eastern. I hope you all will come to that. We've had
That's
2
great to
episodes.
know.
Paul was uh the first episode was Mark Messina. Second episode was Paul Fleury. The third episode will be next week with Stormy Joe, and then DC. And we just have great stories to tell. It's live, and just to get your weekend started in the right direction, just follow this channel if you possibly can, if you're on Twitter or any place else. And then I've got really great interviews coming up. My next interview is Mark Abrahams,
Oh,
Nice.
who's on the news channel. He is the nicest guy in the world.
He's
So nice.
very
And
nice.
He is. Has he
what a
started in the press
story.
room yet? Is he got credentials for the
Oh,
press room?
Yeah.
he
Or
did.
the,
I don't think he's,
not
yeah.
yet?
I'm not sure if he's started yet or not.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he went, but I don't think there was a press conference. But his incredible story in New York as
Yeah.
a person working in the media during 9/11, he's got incredible stories. So that's coming out on Monday. So I thank you for growing with me and for all of you being a part of this channel and the other channels, for conspiracy therapists and all of us. We're all growing together as a family. So thank you
thank
so
you.
much, everybody. I just love you all. We all do. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful corner of the internet to share with everybody. So thank you. Have a wonderful Saturday night. Stay cozy, everybody, and warm. And we'll see you real soon. Okay.
Thanks,
Love you
Ellen.
all
Thanks,
so much.
Cackle.
Thank you
Okay.
so much.